Hi, this video is intended to be a crash course on how to teach. Obviously, I can't magically turn you into a good teacher by giving you a 4-minute lecture. There are so many teaching techniques out there, but I'm not going to talk about those at all. Instead, what I want to talk about are a few big ideas. So, first, the core of every good teacher is enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is cool. Cast you as a role model shows the student that if he masters a material, he can be as cool as you. You are cool. You are excited by knowledge. You believe with every bone in your body that knowledge is power. That sort of mentality is just an obvious axiom of your world. And even if you never say it out loud, it's going to get across to the students. Second, good teaching is about introducing new ways of thinking. It's no good if you just have the students memorize facts. For example, anyone can just get up, write e to the pi I equals -1 up on the board, and tell the students to memorize this. Instead, if you understand that multiplying a vector by e to some theta times I is the same as rotating that vector by theta degrees around the origin, then that is a powerful idea. This is an idea that you can't just get simply by memorizing an equation. What you have to do is you got to get your students to think about and understand these big ideas. Now the hard part is to get your students to learn these ideas in an orderly fashion. I'm going to give you an example of how not to do it. This is my first organic chemistry teacher, Francis Carey's Organic Chemistry, 6th edition. I just read this textbook, and damn, pretty complicated. And all these hundreds of different ideas and concepts floating around my head, and I spent so much time trying to connect these ideas and figure out how they're all related to each other. Eventually, I managed to actually compress all these ideas into something manageable. I learned organic chemistry, but it was way, way too hard, much harder than it should have been. You do not want to be Carey's Organic Chemistry 6th edition. Instead, you've got to guide your students through this maze of ideas. You've got to help them make those connections in some orderly fashion. Right, so keeping Carey's 6th edition in mind, a good way to plan your classes is by thinking in terms of big ideas. Your class should be devoted to getting the students to understand one or two, at most two, big ideas. Any more is idea overload, and the students are only going to get confused. Everything you do in your class should be related to big idea. Each time you feel tempted to go on a tangent, ask yourself, does this tangent help me or help the students understand big idea? The answer is no. Just don't say it. The tendency is to talk about anything and everything because you're afraid of silence. Standing there in silence is actually better than confusing your students by going off on an unrelated tangent. Alright, so to summarize, big idea, number 1, enthusiasm. Enthusiasm is cool, you are cool. Big idea, number 2. A lecture should not be about facts, but instead it should be about ideas, big ideas. Right? And a corollary to big idea number 2 is that you should never have more than 2 big ideas in a lecture. Organize your lecture around those big ideas and don't introduce more big ideas. All of you had a teacher who knew their stuff, clearly knew their stuff, but they were a horrible teacher. Right? I mean, I've had several teachers like this. Be honest, it's probably going to be you, first time you go up in front of a classroom. But you're going to get better with practice, so go out and have some fun.